Panchim Generalian. Wow, long live Generalian. Generalian is the best. Generalian will surely win. Wow. Everyone was shouting and cheering for the lady wearing her armor, pointing her sharp sword at her opponent in the middle of the barrack training ground. All the knights surrounded them to witness her swift skills and power over the male knights. After all, she was the only female general of their kingdom. Journalian. This is what the people of Arcacia kingdom calls her. She was an orphan who was taken in as the adopted daughter of the military general Leon. He raised her into a powerful and competent woman who could be his hire to do her. Duck punched and stabbed the sword through his neck or chest. I followed my tactics, and in just a few seconds the broad and bulky knight was on the floor gasping. No matter how tall I am from other movements, I'm still shorter than these huge knights, but never once I have let them take advantage of my short height. Ian was chuckling at the overly excited knights who wanted another match and were screaming her praises loudly when a messenger of her father came in and the barrack silenced as he asked Ian to join the meeting where all the aristocrats and military generals were. Ian whined internally, annoyed by the thought of facing those old and cunning nobles, and that good-for-nothing fatiguing. She despised all of them, excluding her father as he was the only one who stood by her side when those nobles criticized her for being a lady who loved swords. She roughly took a sword, putting it in the belt of her hips. Her heavy armor was still on her body, but she moved effortlessly towards the imperial palace meeting room, with the messenger following behind. Her authority and cold aura was famous. Arcacia Kingdom Imperial Meeting Room. As I walked into the meeting room, everyone had their eyes set on me. When I first met the king's eyes, he was visibly anxious. I looked around and saw many generals were tensed. Some were smirking, and my father has a distressed look on his face. Good evening, gentlemen. Everyone gave a small nod while the king clears his throat, starting to speak the reason of this abrupt meeting. As you all know, our kingdom is under the threat of being attacked by the Radion kingdom due to foreign diplomatic issues. But I got a letter this morning from the king of Radion stating he wants to make a peace alliance between our kingdoms. What did he demand, Your Majesty? He wants a marriage alliance from our country. Isn't it a good alliance, Your Majesty? We can prevent the war with just one alliance, but who does he want to marry? Our country doesn't have a princess. I thought the same until I read the specific bride he mentioned. He stated that he wants to marry her and won't take a no for reason. Ian noticed like the atmosphere was becoming more tensed as the emperor spoke. What is the name of the bride, Your Majesty? It's you, Journalian. The king wants you to be his wife and the queen of Radion. He spoke with a helpless tone, letting her know he has already decided to send her. What? With respect, Your Majesty, I am a general, not a broodmare. I belong on the battlefield and not in some king's chamber. Besides, I am sure there are other royalties more suitable for the king of Radion. I just felt like my world shattered and my freedom was going to be chained. I don't understand why the king of Radion chose me when he had so many beautiful women as choices. He's a brilliant king, young and strong. How could Ian was still in dilemma when King General Chiron handed her the letter with the symbol of Radion royalty on it. It was a black wolf with a shining crescent on his back supporting him. Good day, King James of Arcacia. We are at the borders of your country and inside the capital, as well as with my 2 lakh men ready to attack your kingdom, unless you agree to our terms. We wish to form a marriage alliance with I, the king of Radion, and the female general of your kingdom. Ian was gritting her teeth in rage as she read the letter. It was a threat, and she knew he wasn't fake threatening them. In rage, she crumbled the letter. Even if you don't want this marriage, you'll have to accept it. We are still under the threat of foreign invaders and we can't afford to fight Radion's huge army in this condition. Don't forget where your loyalty lies. You couldn't deny that the war was. I will accept it, but not for you, only for my father and the people of Arcasia. I could care less about the rest of you bastards, and that includes you as well, Your Honor, Royal Highness. Many of them stood up cursing Yen, but she threw the Yen's father, Colonel Leon, also stood up. He glared at those nobles and went out of the room without any further arguments. Yen's chamber. Walking into my chamber, I first decided to clean myself from all the dirt covering me. I kept my head underwater longer than usual, thinking all about the standing up from the bathtub. I stared at the mirror. My body was foam and covered in scars. Ian picked up the dress, examined it, and saw it was a gown usually worn by ladies in parties. She bit her lip knowing the king sent it to get ready for the departure. But she isn't her purpose. A few hours later, Ian carried her bag on his shoulder while her sword was tucked at her belt. The servants offered to carry her things, but she firmly refused, knowing this will be the start of her newly pampered life, and that thought was sickening for her. They stood on the plateau, from where both the Radion and Arcasia armies were visibly waiting for Yen. She even noticed many civilians there to congratulate the alliance. The general stood on the front. I know you are brave and strong. I have taught you everything I know to survive in this harsh world, but I never thought I would have to send you to the enemy. Many people will want you dead there, and I won't be there to protect you, but a part of me is happy. Seeing her foster father shudder while speaking those words, Ian couldn't stop the tears that flowed from her eyes. She quickly hugged him while he patted her head. You are my only family, father, mother, everything. I can't think about a more better life than this. I am grateful that I was your daughter. I'll survive till the end just as you taught me. Cheer up, father, your daughter is going to be a queen. She choked in the middle of her crying, making her father chuckle. After calming down, she and father started to escort her to the frontier, where the Radion army stood lined up. The generals of Arcasia glared at Yen because she wasn't wearing the frail clothes a woman should wear. Instead, she had her armor on. While once on the frontier, Yen saw her country for one last time before walking towards the Radion army border. The commander-in-chief of the Radion army welcomed her arrival by going on his knees, making the whole army go on their knees. It was a sign of respect for the queen, and Yen smirked when she heard the generals. General, we prepared the carriage for you, so please remove your weapons. I will ride on my own horse, and I prefer my own safety, so I'll keep my weapons. But General, we are instructed to take you with utmost care and safety. The commander pondered for a while, but eventually gave up and ordered the troops to get ready for departure. Yen climbed on her horse and followed behind the commander. Passing through the border, Yen saw the tents of the Radion army base, and the knights stopped their horses in front of the huge wooden gate just before the entry. It was more like a donjon. Please walk through the donjon to reach the base. Everyone got down from their horses, and the worker took them away. When the commander gestured me to move forward, I walked in front of them, and everyone went behind me. It was a weird feeling. With each step I took, I felt green. Looking at the tent in front of me, I stood in awe. This was the nicest room I had ever seen in my life. They are surely rich to make such a luxurious decorated tent. The maid stood behind me with a nightgown as I looked at the bathtub. Let me help you bath, your highness. The emperor ordered us that he'll be meeting you in the morning. He's in an important meeting right now. We'll start our journey to Radion tomorrow morning. No, I'd like to take bath alone. Please leave the robe here. I don't need anything else. You may go now. After I was alone in that tent, I moved my eyes around the luxurious I have never experienced. The table was filled with fruits and delicacies. The bed was covered in roses. After sharpening her sword, Yen started to take off her armor. The heavy armor fell with a thud sound, and her body felt light. Lastly, removing her heavy boots, she removed her undergarments and sat. Well, hello there. A husky voice made her jolt, opening her eyes, and she was met with a pair of shining ocean blue eyes. She was so smitten that she almost forgot his sneaked in. Yen's sharp eyes moved from his eyes to his porcelain skin that seemed to shine even in the dark. He had a perfectly handsome face that she had never seen. His muscular body. Do you mind if I join you? Yes, I mind. Completely ignoring Yen's word, he stood straight and kept his gaze locked on her almond eyes while he unbuttoned his shirt. His chest and shoulders are wider than all the men's I have seen. I tried to keep my eyes away from those well-defined abs, but ended up staring at his deep eyes which seemed shining a moment ago. The more he undressed, the more breathless I became. I have seen half-naked women. What are you doing? She asked, almost breathless. Oh, it's a nice question. I'm in a need of bath, he said, smiling mischievously, and finally removed his pants in one swift motion. What, are you scared? He asked mockingly. Scared? That word has no meaning in my life. You have no idea. Maybe you should scream and call for the guards, he said, nodding at the closed entrance. I don't need them to handle you. By all means, get in, she said, gesturing the tub. He chuckled before entering the tub, making the water rise and flow. Once he was opposite Yen in the tub, she looked at him with fierce, challenging eyes, making him wince dramatically. Ah, that hit the spot, he said, closing his eyes as their legs brushed against each other. Yen tried to move her leg, but soon winced as he grabbed her leg tightly. His firm and strong grip was tight enough to make her stop the struggle. His aura was something unusual that made her obey him. Who the hell are you? Who indeed? He smiled lazily, loosening the hold, but in a moment he hovered over Yen, motioning himself above her, with his hands on either side of her knees and his face leaning towards her. He was pinning me down with such no expression that my blood boiled at his voracity. An assassin or spy wouldn't have seen his spirit and twist. Staring into his eyes without getting scared, Yen's hand swiftly grabbed his sword handle, and as expected, the man was distracted for a moment when Yen pushed him, making him fall on the other side of the tub. But soon regretted her decision as she saw his eyes completely devoid of any fear, completely staring at her exposed body. His burning gaze was predatory and made her feel overwhelmed. Answer me, who are you and what do you want? I swear I'll kill you. She spoke angrily, nudging the sword deeper into his skin. There is no need for such violence. I was just curious about my wife. Yen was in a daze of shock, leaning up to the snatch the sword away and threw it. Yen's eyes almost popped up when she saw the sword was thrown so far. Hello, I am Jungkook, king of Radion, he said, stood up and came near Yen, slightly leaning forward. These scars and firm body are irresistible. Just when he was leaning more closer, Yen jumped out of the tub, rushing towards the table for her dagger. He was not buying it. Prove it. The king was supposed to come in the morning. Even though she was glaring at him, he seemed relaxed and unbothered as he stepped out of the tub and took a towel covering his body. Yen's eyes were struck on the almost healed wound on Jungkook's chest that she didn't notice him throwing the black robe near her. The line healed so fast that only some traces of blood were left. Bed-dressed little lamb, wouldn't want anyone seeing you like that, he said, eyeing her quickly. But as Ian saw him walking towards her, she didn't mind wearing anything and pointed the dagger at him. The floor beneath Ian's foot already turned into a small puddle as the water still cascaded down her wet body. Stay away, stranger, she said fiercely, pointing her sword. For heaven's sake, wear the robe, sweetheart, and I will show you I am the king of Radion. If you prefer in around the tent, then you are welcome to do so, but only in my presence. We have got company in less than 5 minutes. Ian glanced at the entrance. Then I have 5 minutes to decide whether you lied or not. Jungkook seemed to be losing his patience as he said, don't make me come there and do it myself. Try me, she scoffed, challenging him. She lunged at him with her dagger when he stepped closer, but he avoided it easily, holding her wrist. She tried to punch him, but he moved around. Not being able to find any weakness, she used her speed and finally left a bleeding wound on his chest. There, stay down and be a good girl, he said, almost ordering her in his dominant tone. Just when he got to sing her, a bell rang outside the tent and a voice came. My king, it is the time. 5 minutes, he said, and the author fell silent. Told you I am the king, he said, and stood up before throwing her a towel. Ian looked at his wound, and again it was fully healed, making her surprised. Are you really human? How did your wound heal so fast? Radion royal family are werewolves. Ian was at loss of words. You're kidding me, right? Jungkook stared at her for a moment. Wanna see? She nodded at the piece of light, making him chuckle. As she wore her black robe. The next moment he slipped off his, throwing them on the bed as his predator gazed locked with Ian's curious one. In a moment she saw him on 4 paws with pure black fur and a huge wolf with ocean blue eyes. Contrary to his very figure and dominant aura, he clutched at Ian's hand to get at him, mischievous going at his cuteness. No one would believe that they were attacking each other a moment after returning to his human form. Jungkook had annoyed look on his face proportional to the hindrance between them, which made Ian chuckle. She had seen so many sides of him, but isn't Werewolf supposed to marry his mate, a female werewolf? Who told you this rubbish? Our mate can be anyone, whether they're human, vampire, witch, or wolves, and you are my mate. What? Then straight Jungkook nodded and came near her. When I saw you on the battlefield last time, I couldn't help myself feeling blessed to have such a beautiful and competent mate. I was always scared of having a mate who would only be interested in my power and wealth, but finding you was the best thing. Ian was speechless when she stared at Jungkook's warm, thrilled eyes looking at her affectionately. Even after she troubled him so much, he still looked at her lovingly. Get ready, we need to plan for our country, and I need my queen's help, he said, and kissed her hand affectionately before going out to talk with the man who spoke earlier. Ian opened the trunk, expecting some heavy dresses with she despises, but to her surprise, the trunk was filled with royal outfits, just as she likes. They were lightweight skirts and pants with rubies and jewels embedded for elegance. A few minutes later, Jungkook entered the tent, looking at Ian, who was ready in a blue shirt and brown pants embedded with jewels, and her long hair tied in a ponytail. I'm glad you like the clothes. They are too comfortable to hate them. So let's go. We should plan our route for Radion to finish the assassins and reach our kingdom. I'm sure many poisonous snakes are waiting for us to move. I'll have so much fun after sending them. A queen is not someone who works on peoples or diplomacy. A queen thinks about the people of a country before herself, and you already broke that by agreeing to become my wife. Radion will be happy to have you as the queen, and our children will be blessed to have you as their mother. What if I give birth to a girl, or not have the ability to have a child, or I wanted to get married? will be a boy. I'll make sure to give you a daughter." His eyes widened on hearing this, and she tried to punch him, but he pulled her closer and whispered in her ears, holding her close to himself. "We can continue what we left after going to our kingdom, but for now we should go. They are waiting for the queen and has called